Waiting, I can already introduce ourselves a little bit. So my name is Ietje. I'm here with Nierika. We are both working at PYRATEX in environment and compliance and in communication as well, and client collaboration. And we were thinking we wanted to create this series of webinars because we see that often clients have the same type of questions and are very interested in knowing more about certain fibers. So this is the first one. So please bear with us because it's the first time for us as well doing a LinkedIn Live and doing this in direct. So hopefully technically it will all go well. And so we're calling this series of webinars, or what we're planning to do is what's moving the needle with PYRATEX. And we tend to deep dive every time in a subject, which can be like a different fiber. But it can also maybe be like the different recycling processes, dyeing methods, LCAs, everything that is related to our industry, the textile industry. So I'm not sure, I suppose everybody is familiar with what we're doing here at PYRATEX. PYRATEX is an R&D company, and we're a textile supplier of circular knitted fabrics and knitwear, being experts in either natural, bio-based, or recycled compositions. So we're based in Madrid. We're today in Madrid, and we produce our materials in Spain, Portugal, and Italy through a certified and traceable supply chain. And we also produce now some of our fabric formulas as well in Mexico to be closer to our US customers. So let's start the webinar. Any questions, please send them over the chat and we'll try to get back to you at the end of the presentation. So first of all, linen. Let's talk about linen. Linen comes from the flax plant and is grown for various purposes. Besides linen fabrics, flax is actually used for linseed oil, a product used as a nutritional supplement, and as an ingredient in many wood finishing products. Linen actually, even though being one of the oldest fabrics, only represents 0.3% of the global fiber market in 2023, according to the latest Textile Exchange report. We love to see this number increase, and we'll tell you why during this particular webinar. For the ones who do not know Textile Exchange, it's a global nonprofit driving beneficial impacts on climate and nature across the textile industry. It's a very interesting platform, often issuing reports. I would definitely recommend you to check it out for the ones who are not familiar with it.
So as Ietje mentioned, linen is one of the oldest textiles, and it has a remarkable history dating back to about 34,000 years. To origins that people have found in Georgia, where it was cultivated from wild flax. And soon enough, linen became a staple in garments across civilizations. And these garments have lasted throughout years, decades. And as you can see in the picture here, this one has lasted 5,000 years. And this just proves how durable this fiber is.
So linen has been moving around. So the farming of flax and production of linen has moved across the globe from Europe to Asia. Years ago, Europe not only farmed flax, but also spun and produced lots of linen. But as time progressed and as cotton gained popularity, a lot of European linen producers closed down. So today, much of the European farmed flax is actually sent to Asia for linen production. And the production of linen also often involves a process called cottonization. And that's a process in which flax fibers are chemically treated and broken down through sorts of a washing to make the yarn softer. And process is done so existing processing machines intended for cotton processing can be used, thus making production more cost effective. However, this process can significantly affect as well the quality of the linen when it's taken too far. And this is a cheaper method. So this being the cheaper method, also being the much more common method, and it's much harder to find the traditional way of methods of producing linen, the more high quality, without cottonization. Furthermore, conventional linen production also involves often various countries, making it challenging to trace the production process.
So let's talk about what makes flax or linen so special from a sustainability perspective. So the flax plant actually thrives in temperate climates, and it's quite a resilient plant. And the types of climates that it can grow in normally have an ideal temperature of around 13 degrees Celsius, with a moderate rainfall between 50 to 60, with moderate rainfall and between 50 to 60% humidity. And it's naturally resistant to pests, which means it requires minimal chemical pesticides. And it also makes it a low impact crop when compared to cotton. When flax is also grown in these right regions, this crop tends to be low maintenance, requiring minimal irrigation and minimal fertilization. And since it's efficient in its nutrient uptake and reliance on natural rainfall, again, this significantly reduces the amount of inputs required for this crop to thrive. And finally, flax is a champion for crop rotation, which is a type of farming technique where a plant is grown alongside other types of crops. And the flax plant in particular improves the soil health by breaking up soil compaction and adding organic matter. And this not only benefits the flax plant itself, but also boosts the productivity for other crops that share the same land. So what kind of certification can be applied for linen? In our case, we use the linen that comes from France, and it's Masters of Linen certified, which is a mark of quality for linen grown in Europe and for linen that's grown using better practices. And this also ensures a certain degree of traceability in terms of seed to fiber and yarn. So the flax fiber process is quite long and labor intensive when compared to cotton. But unlike cotton, which comes from seeds, the flax fiber is harvested from the stems of the plant, which adds to the durability. So after the harvesting of the plant, the stems are separated from the seeds and the leaves, and they undergo a natural process called retting, which exposes it to moisture and microorganisms, allowing the stem to kind of break down and soften the surrounding tissues, making it easier to extract the fibers. This is then followed by a mechanical process known as scooching, which separates the fibers from the woody parts of the stem. And finally, these inner fibers are carefully combed into thin strands, ready to be spun into yarn, thereby transforming the flax into a durable and versatile linen that we know today.
So let's move on to the spinning process, the next step. In the spinning process, the first step is combing. This process is very similar to combing hair, and it removes impurities like straws that could have remained after scotching. It allows also for separations of long fibers from shorter fibers. The longer the fiber, the higher the quality. So it's the longer fibers we are using for the linen. It also places the fibers parallel to one another.
These combed flax fiber ribbons are then mixed in a complex blending process where at least 24 batches of these comb ribbons that might originate from different locations and different harvest years can be combined in order to make linen yarn of a homogeneous quality and color.
So then we're moving on to the preparation stage, which is composed of 5 different processes or 5 different stages. And at each stage, these ribbons are mixed and stretched to obtain a sliver. This process in total may last around a week. Following the preparation stage, the sliver will be washed and then may be bleached to prepare for dyeing.
So after this washing and possible bleaching, the strands then go through various spinning steps. And for high quality linen, a wet spinning process is used where the strands are humidified to achieve a kind of finesse and robustness. And as a result, the yarn is then rolled into yarn cones.
The yarn cones are then shipped to our knitting factory and fed into a circular knitting machine, which then knits the yarn into fabric in the form of a tube, which you can see here. And by the way, I hope that you guys are all seeing it and it doesn't take too much to load. It's then cut open, dyed, and finished and mounted on rolls. While in stores, linen is most commonly found in woven form. In fact, knitting gives linen yarns greater flexibility, elasticity, and crease resistance. So due to the complications of producing linen, which we mentioned earlier, we mentioning cottonization and the fact that linen is often not 100% traceable, we really wanted to invest a good amount of time and research into producing linen in Europe from farm to fabric. So our linen fabrics, which we call PYRATEX lino, a range of fabrics, have been developed from the finest French linen, which is certified and which has not been subjected to that cottonization process. It's spun in Poland and knit in Portugal, and enabling us to have a local and traceable production.
So what are some of the benefits of linen as a fabric? While it might be slightly more labor intensive as compared to cotton, it uses significantly less amount of water. And what's more is that the entire plant from the seed to the fiber is used. As Ichi mentioned in the beginning, flax is grown for various purposes. Additionally, the flax fibers are 2 to 3 times stronger than cotton, and this is because it's a stem-based fiber, which means it's higher in its cellulose content and has longer fiber structures. And then finally, as a fabric, linen is hypoallergenic, absorbent, breathable, and long-lasting, and has a unique quality where the more you wash it, the softer it gets. So to sum it up, this is obviously a versatile material that can be worn in transitional pieces, and it only gets better over time.
So what does linen look like? These are the fabrics that we developed here at PYRATEX. So linen is a natural fiber, which also means its characteristics change depending on the environment and weather. Therefore, high quality linen are you can definitely characterized by natural variations, which you can see here on the photo, for instance, of our single jersey on the left. This gives the fabric its specific look that we associate with linen. Linen is also very easy to dye and to print, which you can see here on the example of the single jersey being printed on. Then we have also developed a French terry, which unbrushed, blended with organic cotton that you can see here on the right.
I have to say it's amazing that we've been able to have these different structures in our collection, because you don't often find fleeces made with linen.
Exactly. So PYRATEX Lino 3 is actually a more traditional way of how we often see linen. It's a woven and 100% linen. Woven structures they do not stretch much and wrinkle more than knitted structures. Lino 4, for instance, is a special structure, creating it more like a poplin effect, blending linen with organic cotton.
And then lastly, we have our Lino 5, which is also a French terry, but slightly heavier than our Lino 2. And then our Lino Rib 5, or a Punto Roma, which is a rib.
So just to clarify, all the fabrics that you just have seen, all the linen has been grown in France, and the yarn is spun in Poland, and we knit them in Portugal. And here are some examples of what these linen actually look like. We just added it to the collection, so we don't have that many examples yet, but you can already see it here, the Pangaya using our linen for shorts and shirts. This is the woven version. And then we also have the 710 Studio, a Spanish brand, who is using a PYRATEX lino for textured jersey in a very creative way. So as you can see here, a couple of examples of what linen looks like in real. Actually, we're already at the end of our webinar. As we mentioned, we like it to keep it short because we know most of you are working and we like to keep it to the point. So we hope that that it was very useful. Love to know if anybody has any questions. We had Liat asking us if we could go back to the slide with the stages from the harvesting, just so
Yeah.
Are there any specific questions about this? Or was it just to understand the different processes again? Okay. So yeah, so these are all different, as you can see, as we were saying, that so the flax fiber is harvested from the stems or the bast of the plant. So you can see sometimes when we talk about linen, you can see images of a flower, but in fact, it's not the flower that's using. The stem is really like the rest of the plant that you see here in the photo, and which are then separated from the seeds, and then undergo this natural process of retting. It's a process that's very typical for certain fibers.
Usually stem-based fibers, even hemp and other stem-based fibers undergo the same process to kind of loosen the outer portion of the stem from the inner cellulose structure.
I'm not sure if we can unmute it in case anybody else has questions. So far, we've been answering questions that have been asked over the chat. But if anybody has any other questions, we can definitely unmute. Let's see if we can unmute. This is our first time, so bear with us, please, because we're trying to unmute the call.
Let's see.
Yes, you can turn on your microphone in case you want to ask us specific questions. Don't be shy. Okay, so I think everything was probably very clear. Well, in any case, you can definitely, I mean, if you're a brand and interested in working with a linen, obviously contact us, or you can contact us on our website. We have a contact form. You can also definitely contact us through LinkedIn in case if you have specific questions. We are also planning to set up an e-shop hopefully to be launched next month. But we do not plan to sell immediately the linen fabrics because we don't have that much stock yet. But Liat was asking us if the knit fabrics are 100% linen. Actually, some are and some aren't. What we, for instance, a single jersey that you saw in the beginning, which is the typical structure used, for instance, for T-shirts, that one is 100% linen, as well as the woven fabric that you're seeing right now, that is typically used, for instance, for shirts and pants, and especially in the summer. But the other fabrics that we saw together, like the special structured jersey, the Punta Roma, those have actually a blend of organic cotton. And the reason that we do that is that because we like to present, we were looking as well to change a little bit the look of the linen and modernize it a bit. So I don't know if we can show again, like the last pages. Mm-hmm. So because it's very, sorry, then we have to go to all of them. But yeah, we were like Nierika mentioned, doing, for instance, a French terry with linen is quite uncommon, but it's also very nice because it has such an amazing natural properties. And then if you go to the next page, we also have, for instance, this a jersey, the special structured jersey that has sort of like a poplin effect. That is also which comes really to the linen. It's also a bit different from what you're typically seeing in the market for linen. But so it has for us the benefits of working with linen and the special touch and glow of working with linen, but also a bit more modernized look. And then in the last, the punta roma is also very easy to work with and a more stretchy, and it's very nice, and it's very uncommon for this to find it in a linen composition. So those are our blends of 50% linen and 50% organic cotton. Any other questions? Well, that's it. Well, I just wanted to thank you all so much. Oh, well, Leah, do you want to see? So, yeah. So the lightest weight of the knitted fabrics, I don't know by heart, but I think it must be probably...
I think it's lino 1.
Yeah, it's probably 150.
Yeah.
Yeah, 150. Yeah, 150. Yeah. 150 grams per square meters. So that's quite light. And then, yeah, well, thank you so much for attending. I hope this was really useful for you, and we don't hesitate to give us feedback or let us know if there's specific topics that you're interested in hearing about, or let us know if you would like to recommend us to change anything and talk less, maybe. I don't know, show more. But anyways, we really appreciate your time. We know all you busy are, so thank you so much, and we'll have a wonderful day and afternoon, especially.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.